when you're making that leap from high school to college, now you've been at the JUCO level, Division III, Division II, and now ultimately the Division I level. What's the separator? What's the biggest kind of misunderstood dynamic of that jump from high school athlete to college student athlete, particularly at the Division I level?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like twofold. So like, again, I explain this to everybody this way, like, especially when we walk out on our field, like, I try to explain, like, I mean, it's it's like the Hoosier scene, where they measure the basket, right? Like, yeah, I allude to it because, like, I go out there, I go, hey, listen, do you know what's the same everywhere? High school, Division III, 2, 1, minor leagues, independent leagues, big leagues. The bases are 90 feet. The mound's 60 feet 6 inches. You know what I mean? It's all the same. The parks, for the most part, are in the same dimensional area in so many ways. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. I mean, if you're hitting the ball 380 plus feet at every one of those levels, most time you're probably putting a barrel on it, and it's going to be an extra base hit, a home run, or a long fly ball, right? I mean, so anyway, I go, the biggest thing is, in my opinion, for the Division I is the size, the physicality, right? And when I mean that, I mean like attention to detail, like within your body makeup and different things like that. In speed, I mean, the play is quicker, the you know what I mean? Because the guy is faster and he gets down the line quicker, and the play, like the double plays quicker. And, and I say speed, I mean, and again, I've seen, listen, I was in 2 Division II leagues. They're as good as any in the country. I was in the PSAC in Pennsylvania for 3 years. I mean, I've multiple big leaguers. I mean, Chas McCormick, that was for the Astros. I played, managed against him for, I don't know, 6 or 8 games at least. And I can go down a list of guys, you know what I mean? They're in the big leagues from the PSAC and in Conference Carolinas. When I was at Barton, I mean, with Mount Olive, and you see what North Greenville's doing. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it's Division I baseball, most of those games. It is. The bullpens get that's a little different.
Right.
Especially when we start playing the Power Fives. I mean, you start some of that. I mean, I just, something I got to put my head in my hands. You know what I mean? It's tough, but again, separators. But the biggest, the thing with, you know what I mean, the transition overall, it's the same thing whether it's junior college, D3, D2, D1. Well, I don't care what it is. When you transition from high school to college, there's a few things here that, like, I mean, they've become evident over the years that I think parents and players really need to listen to, like, that I think is really important. Is like, number one is, be ready to play a different position. Okay.
Oh,
Be ready.
right.
I mean, because it's not feasible. The more you can do as a high school player, the more, attractive you are for us as coaches. You know what I mean? Be ready to bunt. I couldn't tell you how many guys that we get in our program that can't bunt. Like they come in, they're like, well, coach, I never bunted. I said, well, you're going to bunt now.
Amen.
Understand, how to bunt and how to work and how to execute and know what it means and do some of those things as far as it goes. And the other thing too is be ready not to play. Okay. And embrace the opportunity to be a pinch runner, a defensive replacement. Maybe you're on the mound as a freshman and you're just going to be cleaning up 10 or down 10 games. And too much that there's just this expectation to come in and right away. It is so hard. It is so hard to be a freshman and compete and play right away. It's so hard. And I don't care what level it is. You're not going to beat Mother Nature. And especially now with 20 rounds in the draft, the COVID stuff, right? And the other piece to it too is, I mean, more kids are coming out of high school with more college credit. So the grad transfer and just, our right fielder is going to be 25 years old. He's a man. I mean, he's an absolute man. There's just, and the 18-year-olds we have on our roster, I mean, they look like 12-year-olds next to him. And again, I tell them all the time, I go, do you see so-and-so? And they'll go, yeah. I said, you're going to look, you need to figure out a way to look like him. That's when you get on the field, so, instead of laying around or doing whatever, I mean, the weight room and your nutrition and everything you got to do to take the next piece. But I think it's having the right expectation for when you're a freshman. Do you know what I mean? And what's important.